It's Andy Humphrey here. Brendan Schaefer will be along very soon. As you might be already aware if you listen to this show or if you follow Brendan and all, you know that he is now a writer for MLB.com and Cardinals.com for most of the Cardinals home games. And, well, they got a home game today, so he's going to join us from Busch Stadium shortly. But, again, it takes a little bit of time. We'll make sure to hear from him very soon. And he's going to give us his take on how the opening weekend went and how we feel about some of the young guys stepping up. And are these starts, these impressive starts that they had, going to hold up all year? Guys like J.J. Weatherholt and Jordan Walker. We've been waiting for Jordan Walker to have a breakout season. Could we be upon the verge of that? We're going to overreact to the first weekend of the Cardinals season coming up here in just a little bit. Brendan will join us in a little bit as well for that. And we're also going to talk, well, college basketball. Of course, the Final Four is set. And in wild fashion, UConn is there. Some way, shape, or form, they were able to come back and have that crazy last sequence to hit a game winner and then all of a sudden stun Duke. So we're going to have takes on that, but there's news locally. The roster moves are beginning now for Mizzou men's basketball. We'll talk about the reports that we've seen so far and what they'll mean for what the Tigers need in the transfer portal here very soon. We'll get your takes on that as well. We want to hear from you at 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. You can tweet us at KTGR Big Show. You can also see us live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports and facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, The Big Show's Big Deal.
Let's start with those moves that we've heard about within the last couple of hours or so. Mizzou men's basketball reportedly keeping Trent Pierce. Joe Tipton of On3 Sports reporting that he's agreed to a deal to come back for his senior season after averaging 10 points a game for the Tigers this year. But we have also learned of the first transfer out, and he himself confirmed it on his social media not too long ago. Anthony Robinson II going to be entering the transfer portal when it opens next week. Robinson was the starting point guard for a lot of this season, pretty much all of non-conference play, but then was unseeded by T.O. Barrett in the middle of the SEC season. Had a very good showing in the NCAA tournament, loss against Miami, but it looks like he will be moving on for his senior season and entering the transfer portal. So one in and one out for Mizzou men's basketball so far. That's the Big Show's Big Deal on this 30th day of March 2026. You can call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. And those moves, not entirely unexpected. I think maybe the most coin flippy one was Robinson. You weren't necessarily sure if, the fact that he had stayed pretty much the exact same amount of time as Trent Pierce did, if you thought that maybe he was going to go ahead and ride it out for one more season, even though this last one did not go the way that I'm sure he wanted and really that Mizzou fans really wanted in that sense. It just never all really came together for him this year. And so you would have understood at that point with T.O. Barrett coming on as the starting point guard. And look, he had his ups and downs too, obviously, as we saw clearly down the stretch of this season. The fact that Robinson was maybe looking to be the odd man out of that equation wasn't hard to see. And so it's not all that surprising to me, at least, that a guy like him would want to find another spot to go and start and end his college season on a high note in that way. And so I think it's unfortunate. I would have loved to see Anthony Robinson stick around. By all accounts, a great guy, and I've been able to talk to him a couple times, and he's been a great guy. Just an easy guy to root for, if you ask me, and how he has composed himself, been able to represent the program under Dennis Gates. Like maybe the first real success story of Gates taking a recruit that he brought from high school and turning him into a contributor at the college level. And so you can also put Trent Pierce in that category too, because they came up in the same class. But Pierce had to battle some injuries through that. Robinson was the one that got the most run and the most chance to blossom at this level. And so it's just unfortunate that it ends that way. but I don't think it is the worst situation from, where Mizzou stands at this point, because look, I think you had to keep one of T.O. and Ant. And so now the goal is, okay, you got to keep T.O. And whether you preferred T.O. or Ant, I mean, we can go back and forth on that. I don't think it mattered all that much. We've obviously seen the upside of when Robinson was at his peak and how effective that was for Mizzou on both ends of the floor. And so I can understand why, if you wanted to keep Ant, and maybe it would be fine if T.O. left, I can understand that part. But the bottom line, you had to keep at least one of them. And as long as Mizzou has the plan to keep T.O. Barrett at the same time, then you've got a good foundation for what can be your rotation going into next year, and especially now that you've got Trent Pierce, which that seemed to be the big priority. Definitely took a step this year offensively. You do not want to have somebody else be the beneficiary of him taking the next step and potentially having another season that he can build upon as he gets to his senior year. So you want to benefit from that. It looks like Mizzou will be able to with Trent Pierce. And good for him. You don't see a whole lot of guys stick around for 4 years anymore. That's a strong sign for a guy like Trent Pierce. And that way he can become a huge fan favorite now for this team heading into next season, which, look, it's all got to come together now with Jason Crow Jr. coming in. You've got to find the right pieces around him to put together a season that can have a better finish to it. That's really the missing piece. I mean, you've had good moments during the regular season. Like, let's not deny those. Let's not excuse those away as being non-existent because the March losses have happened. Like, no, they are all there, but you've got to find the killer instinct once the calendar turns to March. And you have the games that are win or go home, and you have the championships on the line and everything like that. You got to make a run now. And so that's what it all has to be poured into. Do you have the players that have it might not just be experience, because you're going to have some young players that you're going to rely upon next year, but you need a good mix of that so that your team doesn't run out of steam the way that it seemed like it was happening this past year. It looked that way on the floor. And so what pieces can you build around Jason Crow Jr. and the rest of the returning core for Mizzou men's basketball to have a season that is not going to finish the way that the last couple have? Give us your thoughts on Trent Pierce staying and Anthony Robinson leaving, per the reports. 875-KTGR to call or text us here on the show and leave a comment on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Brendan will be along soon from Busch Stadium to talk about some Cardinals stuff. But now it's about finding, I think, at least a couple more starters. Because let's say, okay, if Ant's leaving, let's say you've got T.O. Barrett ready to stay. And I don't know if we've seen anything definitive on that. Maybe that news starts to trickle out here along the next 24 hours, because this is the first we're really hearing of some roster moves / news from the Mizzou side. Maybe you start to find out all the pieces of info about who is staying and who is leaving this week before the portal opens next week. Well, let's say you've got T.O. in the fold for next year as well. So T.O. and Trent Pierce. Let's say you've got Trent Burns as well. Probably not keeping Sebastian Mack. And then there's some other toss-ups there. That Nicholas Randall's another toss-up that you think is maybe going to be back, but you're not sure. And to be honest, like, if you're looking to maximize that roster spot, maybe you need to look for an upgrade there. Interesting situations with Luke Northweather and Javon Porter. I think Javon Porter's out of eligibility, but it seems, at least per the reporting, that he's going to pursue a medical hardship waiver because he missed most of the second half of this past season. And so maybe he's going to have a chance to, but I don't think the way that the rules are currently constructed that he would qualify for it. Again, though, there's no rules anymore, so maybe he's going to get it. Like you've got for sure, I think 5, let's call it 4 to 5 rotation players that you can use to start building your foundation for next year. That's Trent, and we're kind of saying that it's T.O. We don't know that T.O. is for sure coming back yet, but let's say that he is because the goal was to keep one of either Ant or T.O. So Trent, T.O., let's say you also keep Trent Burns, and then you've got the 3 freshmen, Jason Crow. Tony Bryant, I think, should be part of this rotation. We'll see about Aiden Chronister. But then, like, you've got to get at least 2 more, maybe even 3 more starter quality players that maybe you got to bring one of them off the bench. One of them's got to be filling the Sean Phillips role, if you ask me, because I don't know if you can rely upon Trent Burns to step into that spot right away. You need more shooting. I mean, you're going to get a good boost of it with Crow coming in. But if T.O. is the point guard that you're bringing back, then that's lost production from the 3-point line unless he develops a shot. I mean, that can always be the case. Pierce coming back is obviously a big part of it, of the shooting aspect. But it was clear that Mizzou lacked in that area this season and could not have the shots fall when they needed to at big spots because they didn't go out and get another key shooter to rely upon that can spot up from the corner and be a threat that stretches the floor the portal season beforehand. So for me, you got to prioritize that this time around. Maybe you're talking about a wing that's more like the stereotypical guy that Dennis Gates goes out and gets. It's, around the 6'7" to 6'9" range, maybe even 6'10", but can really shoot the basketball well from the outside and be able to stretch the floor for you. I just think that's critical to get at least one guy that is proven to get that done at the Division I level. So find a strong front court player that can play the 5, maybe even the 4 as well. And then talking about getting maybe another ball handler to back up T.O. I would be skeptical. Look, Aaron Rowe is still around, and if Aaron Rowe is back, we'll see. Maybe he can take similar baby steps to what T.O. Barrett did his true freshman season. I don't know if that's enough to establish yourself as a true backup to the starting point guard for an SEC team. We'll see. But it would feel like, again, if you want to maximize this year, that you got to find an experienced guy that can bring up the ball and essentially take Sebastian Mack's spot, take the spot that you were hoping Sebastian Mack was going to fill this year. It just seemed that it was not materializing with the way that he fit with the rest of this group for a lot of the season. And so now you just try again. You find the guy that you were hoping he would turn into and then have him join the backcourt essentially with T.O. But you've got a chance to put something together here. Now that you have T.O. back, or we don't know that T.O.'s back. I want to make very clear. We know that Trent's back. Trent's in the starting lineup next year. Jason Crow is in the starting lineup next year. If T.O. is back, I think he's still the starter. Depending on any portal additions that they get, if it is for sure an upgrade over what they've got, then maybe they're able to slot him into the starting lineup and they don't have to put all of that on T.O. Barrett right away out of the gate as the starting point guard. Although if you're doing that, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you can still trust him to at least start the season as that guy. And if it materializes and whoever you get from the portal is a better fit or gives you a better jolt at the very beginning of the game, then okay, you can make that switch similar to how you did this past season when you kind of needed to. But still a lot of questions as to what the front court's going to be. I mean, when you lose the scoring potential of Mark Mitchell at the 4 spot, and then just the all-around play on both ends that Sean Phillips gave you, while a little bit erratic and out of control at times, I understand, it was still, I think, out of a Dennis Gates season, the best that we've seen out of a 5-player so far in his tenure. So if you can get someone that at least gets to that point and replaces that production, that's the ideal situation. But someone that is a scoring threat down low is pretty crucial. Whether they play the 4 or the 5, I don't think matters all that much. But you've got to find that interior presence that made defenses adjust to you for a lot of the regular season. But then they started to figure it out. And when Mizzou didn't have enough shooting, they weren't able to adjust to it. So it's now setting up to the point where, okay, you see the dominoes start to fall, and that clearly outlines the needs. 1 or 2 more shooters, 1 or 2 more front court scoring threats, and probably another ball handler that you can trust to either start, or if T.O. continues to take steps forward, assuming he's back, that you can have join him or interchange at that spot as needed alongside a Jason Crow Jr. But man, it's got to be, you got to push some chips in if you're Dennis Gates and Tim Fuller here, and then the basketball program as a whole. So call or text us with what you think on what Mizzou basketball needs now. 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Adam texting in, Pierce back is huge. I know the key piece is Crow, but don't sleep on Tony Bryant. It might take a little bit of time, but yeah, you shouldn't sleep on Tony Bryant. By the way, you're going to have both of them playing in the McDonald's All-American game tomorrow. I believe that's in Arizona somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I mean, that's a big deal. Again, they're both 5-star guys. They're both deserving of their current ranking in the high school class. But I mean, the fact that Crow just absolutely blistered California state records. I mean, think about that. How many high school basketball players have come out of the state of California? And Jason Crow surpassed the record mark for total points in a career by this past December, and he still had room to go. Like, that guy's a bona fide star. That's unreal. And that guy's coming to Mizzou. And all the expectations that he'll have coming in his first few games in that uniform, they're warranted, because watching him play seems to be that dude. I mean, Bryant also, I'm not going to sleep on him either. It's just the fact that he does come a little bit lower on that list. And so you always think, okay, that's where the lower you go down the list, the more likely you are to maybe have guys that don't pan out the way that they are ranked. But it's not to say that he's a bad prospect either. He's excellent. And so we'll see how it translates going forward. I think he's going to probably play, not to say that Crow won't play a crucial role, because he'll be the primary scorer on next year's team, or at least one of them, depending on what they get in the portal. But I mean, Mizzou has a solid foundation of what their backcourt can be, at least for now. Right now, the front court is maybe more of a question to me, because what's returning is just unproven talent, if you ask me. The most proven right now is Trent Burns, and we still saw. I like the steps ahead that he made offensively, but on the defensive end, there needs to be some work done. It still is a work in progress there. So to be able to play both ends effectively and have a guy that you trust starting in that spot, they got to be able to play both ends to a decent level. And so you wonder if he'll be able to, but adding another guy like Bryant to the mix, I think elevates the upside a little bit for that particular area of the game. So Bryant could end up playing a spot that Mizzou does need a good amount of production from. It's most likely, I'm not saying he turns into Mark Mitchell, but the spot that Mitchell is leaving, whoever comes up into that spot, and then Bryant probably is going to be filling it. So somebody from the portal most likely is in that spot, and then probably Bryant is the backup there. So I would be keeping an eye on Bryant too. If he plays well enough to the point where he proves that he is worthy of being a starter in that spot, who knows? But it's going to be a feeling out process from all that. And I think also the same with Chronister. Look, that could be where you find a little bit of shooting from too. That's what you're bringing him in for. But again, the lower you go down that list, the more likely it is that guys maybe don't live up to that recruiting hype, right? Not to say that they can't. Obviously they can. But you just get more volatility as you go down the list. So we'll see how those guys do. But look, you can absolutely bank on Jason Crow being every bit of what he is right now and translating that to the college game. Like, you can expect that. So how do you build around it? You know for sure that Trent Pierce is back now. You know for sure that Anthony Robinson is entering the portal and is likely not going to be back. What does that mean for the rest of the team? What's the main thing you're looking for this team to go and find in the transfer portal this offseason? Transfer portal opens next week. Give us a call or text at 573-875-KTGR. We're going to get Brendan's thoughts on it when we come back, but we're also going to get his thoughts on the Cardinals opening weekend. And are the starts that J.J. Weatherholt and Jordan Walker had this weekend going to be a sign of things to come for this year? We're going to get to all that next here on The Big Show.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. If you want the tire experts, if you want the largest selection, if you want a team that you can trust to take care of your vehicle, you get it all at Lee's Tire Company. That's where I go to take my car in whenever I need new tires or service done, oil changes. They have 3 locations, 2 in Columbia and 1 in Centralia that you can go to check out yourself. And they do a great job, if you're in the market for new tires, of putting money back in your pocket. They run specials all the time. So this month you can save on Bridgestone tires, Firestone, Goodyear, so many more brands. You can get money back into your pocket if you buy sets of tires from Lee's Tire Company. So take advantage of that. Go see all the specials at leestirecompany.com. You can also browse their full selection so you can know exactly what type of tires that you want before you bring your car in. Go and check them out on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage by the MU campus or in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells at leestirecompany.com.
In sports, there are bad calls, like wolfing down walking tacos before 9 a.m. warm-ups, discussing NIL deals with your 8U travel team, or trusting the mom who spells lose with 2 O's to order team jerseys. Yay, go Tigres. Here's a good call. Shopping at Play It Again Sports for baseball and softball season. Play It Again Sports. Think of them first, so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com. Extra savings, not extra letters.
Whoops. I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Hypnosis only $59.99. Thursday, April 23rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
What happens when a chef, 2 pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or two. See, billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care. Educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. Whether for homeowners associations, golf courses, apartment complexes, you name it. And it's one less thing to worry about. With expert service and yearly discounts, your business and your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions today. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
It's beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTPR.
Well, again, the Mizzou roster news starting to trickle in. Anthony Robinson out. Trent Pierce in. He's returning to Mizzou men's basketball, according to the reports. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Brendan's here. There he is. He's here walking the hallways, the concourse of Bush, and trying to find a spot where he won't be bothered.
We'll find a spot. So wait a minute. I saw Anthony Robinson, which my reaction is I'm allowed to be disappointed by that, right? Like I think we kind of saw it coming, but I really like the way Anthony Robinson played in St. Louis on that Friday night, and I couldn't say that about a ton of guys on the team. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, but Trent Pierce is back, like confirmed.
According to On3 Sports, agreed to a deal to return.
Now, we're not getting zip buffers. It's not No 3 Sports, right? You didn't.
No.
Get flipped.
Joe Tipton himself.
Okay.
Verifying, he's got all the followers counts, and he's he's the one that's reporting this. Now, I will say, like, it's easy to get a little bit caught offside from it because anytime a reporter out there puts a picture up of a player and then the big bold text breaking news, now this time of year you assume he's in the portal, but no, it's everyone could enter the portal, and so sometimes that news is he's going to return to his school, so you got to read the print there to make extra sure, because that can catch you.
But that's good. I think we still haven't seen the best of Trent Pierce, Andy. That's my take. And
I think you're right. Yeah.
And like in terms of guys that still have development left in them, I think we needed to see him be more of a scorer more frequently this year. And that'll hopefully be a challenge that he's asked to uphold for next year. But also, you do have other guys coming in like Jason Crow Jr., who's going to dominate, we hope, a lot of that scoring prowess. So I'm encouraged by that news. You broke it to me as I was heading out here. I'm at Busch Stadium. If you want to check out the field, the YouTube audience is getting a treat with the arch in the background. I like that one, Andy. I'm bummed about Robinson. I think it was inevitable though, so I'm not going to overreact. Trent Pierce, that feels like you got a guy with size. You got a guy that hopefully continues to develop some versatility. I'm happy about that.
Again, the point guard situation, the goal was to make sure you kept one of T.O. or Anthony Robinson, and we'll see what the news is on T.O., whether that happens. I would think it's an easier situation now for him to stay now that we know that Robinson is leaving. So we kind of like, I don't think we make the assumption for sure, but we kind of are leaning that way. Like,
he's a take. Is that the way you would? He's a take at this point because you don't want to lose them both. But I think sometimes when these moves are made, we react and we go, "Oh, maybe that's the way the team wanted it." Right? We've tried to do our guessing game with football. Okay, Bo Prabula's into the portal. Technically, you lose your starting quarterback, but what if that's kind of the way they wanted it in order to get their Austin Simmons? In this case, you've got 2 point guards who, at any given day, you might have said is the starter or the PG1, and you kind of have to choose in this era. And so we don't know yet if that's, Missouri making a choice or one being made for them, but certainly you would think that even if they weren't really convinced of which guy they preferred to keep, now it's clear they would need to go all out and keep T.O. Barrett and continue to develop him and probably add a veteran point guard to go along with him, which is a whole nother matter. But I don't know if he can be the only guy as a ball handler next year.
Yeah, I think you do need to add another ball handler that you can stick in the backcourt and be comfortable starting if, in fact, you have to turn to him to start.
Yeah.
And then you need shooting and you need front court scoring. Like, but those two levels, like you had it in abundance, I think, this past year on the front court stuff, but you're losing all of it. And so you need to replace it. And then we saw that you didn't have nearly enough on the outside. Like, so you got to hammer them both. Like, it's going to be important for that.
That's easy. So get a little scoring, get a little shooting, get a little front court help, get a guard. So just other than that, Mrs. Lincoln. But this is...
I get it. Yeah.
This is not a slight on Dennis Gates or Missouri. This is just the way it works for every program in America this time of year, that you're going to be replenishing aspects of your roster. You're going to be tweaking. You're going to be making those moves. So I joke about it, Andy, but I think we all know this is part of the drill by now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting the way they go now for the rest of the way. But we want your takes on Mizzou and the transfer portal and the roster moves that we're beginning to learn about. Trent Pierce staying, Anthony Robinson entering the portal. Call or text us with your thoughts at 875-KTGR. So Busch Stadium was still pretty fun throughout the weekend. I mean, the game yesterday was fun, even though the Cardinals didn't win. Like, you get 18 runs combined, and then Jordan Walker does what he does. JJ Weatherholt is him, obviously. And it's like, I just, was gassing him up. I was gassing him up midweek last week so he could be ready.
Is that what you were doing?
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
All right. Because I remember it going a little differently than that. But no, here's the other part of it. I can give you trouble because you thought, hey, could JJ start slow? Was your question. It was just an open question. And we haven't seen that. But just because you had a great series doesn't necessarily mean you sustain that. And I think for JJ, as much as I could, use this opportunity to poke some more fun at you, I do think for JJ, it's not something I worry about as much. I do think he's going to largely be the player that we've seen him be, maybe not always coming through in the clutch like he did with the walk-off in his first ever series, but I think he's a steady kid. Jordan Walker is the one I'm interested in, Andy, and I wrote about him yesterday for Cardinals.com. He had a great day. It was his first game since September of 2024 with multiple extra base hits in the same game. So it's been a minute since we've seen Jordan Walker have the type of day that he did on Sunday. Hit a home run, had 115 mile per hour off the bat double. I mean, he's hitting the ball hard. The plate discipline stuff is better. Andy, the only strikeout he had in the series was yesterday, and it was looking at the knees, and the Cardinals had one challenge left, and I thought, ooh, man, that might be a spot, Jordan Walker, because when when they do the ABS, it's based on your height. So in theory, and not even in theory, in practice, Jordan Walker's bottom of the strike zone is a little higher off the ground than what somebody else's might be. And so I thought, that would be a spot. But he didn't challenge it, and that was his only strikeout of the weekend, Andy. So you're talking about getting the ball in play, seeing the power, seeing some improvements, I think, in the plate discipline. Can this be more than a 3-game sample size for Jordan Walker? That would do wonders for the Cardinals if so.
I mean, it's not that they need it, but Jordan Walker needs it. Jordan Walker needed this type of weekend, like to start out, to kind of stave that off a little bit at the very least, right? Like, I don't know if it means that he's going to break out all season long, but like if he went 1 for 13 or 14 this weekend, whatever it might have been, that just continues to keep the noise going. And then does that kind of creep in and continue to drag down his play? Like, he needed a couple of reasons to make Cardinal fans excited about what he could be. And if that's the case, like, and even for himself, like having those types of swings, like everyone was talking about, oh man, the swing looks great on that particular hit that he just had to add to the score. Like, you needed a couple of moments at least this weekend to at least start a year that's going to be very important for him. But he had more than that. Like, he had that and then some. And I think that's at least a very good sign. I don't know what type of player he turns into yet, Brendan. But that was very much necessary for how this season could go for him.
Yesterday from Oliver Marmol reacting to Walker's day, and he went 3 for 4. We talked about the double, the home run, scored 3 runs, scored 6 runs in the series, which I think either tied or passed like Fernando Tatis from the year 2000 for an opening series. I mean, Jordan Walker was doing a little bit of everything, but it was interesting yesterday. If you take yesterday away, I think he went 1 for 6 with a couple of walks is what he was in the first 2 games. And all he talked about it after the game, that, like, let's go ahead and remove Sunday because Sunday was brilliant. He liked what he saw from Jordan Walker on Thursday and Saturday as well, when it was just a 1 for 6 with a couple of walks but no strikeouts, and talked about it being important for him to continue to stay the course and not let the results dictate how he feels about his day or how he feels about his process. Obviously loves to see him rewarded with the results that he had on Sunday. But I think Ollie liked what he saw in the first 2 games as well, maybe more so than some of the comments I saw from Cardinals fans who kind of were saying, well, man, thank goodness he did it Sunday because he didn't look that good the other days. Ollie liked what he saw those other days too, and I think that's going to be the key for Walker. We have micro-analyzed everything about this kid since 2023, and Jordan maybe just needs to not think as much, not worry as much about the minutia of what the results are, or my goodness, what the mechanics are. He talked about it yesterday and said he's trying to kind of clear his head and not think about. I believe one of the reporters asked him about mechanics. He said, I'm trying to clear my head. I don't want to think about mechanics. I just want to continue to kind of, I think he didn't say simplify, but that's what I heard from him, is that he's just looking to keep it simple.
I don't want to think about it either. And so I can't imagine that he would want to either. Like, I heard
but it's just, we've said
a little more. Need to work on launch angle.
You got to hit it. Don't hit it down there. Hit it up there. Hit the launch angle. And it's like, sure, that's all great in theory. I think we jumped the shark a little bit, though, with it in 2023 for a kid who was like 20 years old when he came into this. He's still 23 years old today. He'll turn 24 later on this in May.
Okay. Yeah.
We jumped the shark a little bit.
I thought I saw a tweet. Maybe I was dreaming that I saw a tweet that he had already, like, the Cardinals wishing him a happy birthday. I didn't know.
He's a May birthday, because I remember his rookie year. It was like this kid, I think he's 20 years old and didn't turn 21 until about a couple months into his career. And it's like we've microanalyzed so much about this player, and there's a lot of raw ability here. You want to take it the other direction, Andy. People talking about, hey, at 23 years old, what was Aaron Judge doing? And it's like, doesn't mean he's going to become Aaron Judge. But you think about a 6'6", just a hulking specimen of a man trying to make it work in this sport where we see those tall guys with the big frames sometimes take a little bit of time. He was playing in the big leagues at 20 years old, being told, hey, change to become a right fielder. You've been a third baseman. You need to hit the ball in the air. I'm not saying, like, there were missteps along the way in the handling of Jordan Walker. We've talked about, to this point, 2026, he's got to just make it happen and let the rest of that go. The weekend was a good start for that, Andy. And yeah, you're right. Jordan Walker needed it. And I think if the Cardinals get it from him moving forward, that's a great sign for what the kind of the rebuild looks like. If he's a middle of the order batting 4, 5, or 6 for you, compared to, just not going to work out.
It'll be fascinating. And it was part of a weekend where the Cardinals looked good. Good. Are they good? Like, let's overreact to 3 games out of 162, which, as the math breaks down, like that's even less impactful than one NFL game out of a 17-game season. Like it's even less than that.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Even more minuscule. But
I'm at the ballpark all
of a sudden. Yeah, like all that.
I'm at the ballpark yesterday. I'm at the ballpark, and my wife texts me that young Gabriel is at home, and she's in the kitchen, doesn't really care. They've got the game on, and he keeps telling her they hit a home run, and she's like, he said it twice, and twice he was right about it. I'm like, okay. Emily, the quote from Emily was, "My life as I know it is over," because he's now indoctrinated into this sports world, just like you and I are, Andy. Yeah. But then as the game is over, I said, oh man, he'll be disappointed that they lost. And he didn't even really register that part. They just stopped playing baseball on the TV. And so I'm told that he got a little upset when he found out that they lost the game. And I said, ooh, we got to explain this, because Mizzou Tigers lose a football game. You got only a few more of them, right? The Cardinals are going to lose some baseball games, regardless of how good they are this year. So we might have to fine-tune the expectations on all of that for Gabe. But, Andy, I think they did look good. They played the style of baseball that Ollie Marmol wants to see them play. The pitching is what we got to keep an eye on. They gave up a lot of hits. I think it was like a 1938 type of record, the most hits in an opening series that they gave up, something of that ilk. Don't quote me on that stat. We'll see when it comes to the pitching, the bullpen in particular. But there was still some of that soft stuff. Chris Roycroft into some bad luck type of stuff. So maybe the bullpen will be better than we saw it over the weekend. But that would be, if you were going to pour cold water, you would say, let's see the pitching have a good little run of success before we get too carried away.
Well, I mean, the starting pitching, largely good. I mean, I know Dustin May.
That was the caveat.
Like that was there. But there were several instances, I think, of the bullpen maybe not holding up its end of the bargain. So that's kind of where I am the most skeptical. Like, okay, like we kind of saw this a little bit as a strength. Like, if they get to this portion of the staff, then should they be okay? They're still working out the ordering, which is fine. Like, it's early, but that's still something that you got to keep in mind for, I think, going forward, that this team needs to figure out how they're going to order their guys to close out games, because it didn't seem all that situated in this first step.
Yeah, I think I was a little surprised that it looks like Stanek is kind of the closer, or at least the guy first in line. We'll see if that holds. I kind of thought in the crazy opening day game, where the 6th inning, you had 14 total runs, I thought maybe Ollie just wanted to calm things down with guys like JoJo and O'Brien after that. But I would think Riley would be a good option for the 9th. We saw him do it some last year. But Stanek will be a good piece for them as well. I really think the questions are more about the bridge to get to that point. But we saw Justin Brule as the second lefty throw a couple of scoreless innings yesterday. I still think Roycroft ends up being okay. But, man, I've never seen guys have tough luck like this guy when it comes to infield hits and dribblers finding holes. But that'll just be something he continues to work through. I do think the bullpen can end up being okay. Is it a strength? Like, it's kind of hard to say after the first series that it is, but time will tell on that for sure.
There's a lot more to discuss on how the Cardinals looked. We'll talk about it more a little bit later on, but give us your thoughts on the first weekend of Cardinals baseball. 875 KTGR. We'll talk Final Four. We'll talk our picks of the week. We'll have Larissa Anderson of Mizzou softball joining us at 5:45. But under the bus coming up next to the arena horn that would not shut off even after you unplugged it during an Elite Eight game. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening, I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local Sports Center update is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball Anthony Robertson II is reported to be entering the transfer portal, posted by On3 Sports. Robinson finished the season shooting 41% from the field and 31% from three. However, Trent Pierce is expected to stay for his senior season. In 20 games, he started 12 and became one of the Tigers' key players. Gates will have at least 3 incoming freshmen for next year's roster, leaving some transfer space open. The St. Louis Cardinals take on the New York Mets tonight here in the Show Me State. The Cards come off a hot opening week, taking out 2 of 3 games from the Rays. The pregame show will begin at 5:50 p.m. with a first pitch set for 6:45, so you can stay around and follow the action right here on KTGR. Mizzou Baseball's Border Showdown game versus Kansas at Taylor Stadium tomorrow has been moved up to 4:30 p.m. due to incoming weather. The Tigers come off a tough weekend series sweep to number 25, Texas A&M, and will head to Lexington this weekend to take on the number 24 Kentucky Wildcats. Mizzou softball turned things around in conference this past weekend after sweeping Auburn on the road. Missouri now sits back above 500 and will face Missouri State tomorrow at 5 before hosting number 20 LSU. Up next, your weather.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mild temperatures tonight as we remain in the mid to Wednesday. Morning temperatures Wednesday in the 50s. We'll see highs in the upper 60s with showers and storms throughout the evening. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field, swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit. And across the SEC, fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Tigers are ready to roar. There it goes, long drive, deep right field. That is gone. This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball. The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
This is Phil Fortaleza here with Mizzou basketball's Anthony Robinson II and his mama Nisha, getting ready for the latest Sticklin' and Sticklin' injury law commercial.
Aunt, you got your line?
I got it, Mom.
Go ahead.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Call Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
Mom, that's my line.
At Sticklin' and Sticklin', all they do is personal injury.
Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
It's a slam dunk.
Summer is coming. Are you ready? This is Michael Agnew at API Project Fitness. Now is the time to get moving. For a limited time, try our gym and all of our classes, expert coaching for just $1 for your first month. That's right, full access, real results, and a community that pushes you to be your very best, all for just $1. No pressure, no excuses, just progress. Stop waiting and start today for just $1. Find out more at APIProjectFitness.com.
Hi, it's Hillian Hart. This December, let's make some Christmas magic together in Europe.
Join us December 6th through the 14th for Colette's European Christmas Markets Tour.
We're heading to Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest.
Think holiday shopping, amazing food, and that once-in-a-lifetime Christmas feeling everywhere you go.
And since Colette takes care of the flights, hotels, meals, and local experiences,
you can focus on having fun.
Get the full trip details now. Go to 943kat.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Lose weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis, only $59.99. Seminars Thursday, April 23rd, Capitol Plaza Hotel in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th, Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Spring is in the air, and Alleve's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
So, in Houston, was this last night or was it the day before? It was Saturday. Illinois and Iowa. Yeah. Game got delayed because the buzzer, I believe for the shot clock, just started sounding and did not stop. Kept on going for I think a good 10 minutes. So if you were in the building and you heard that buzzer just going off, you probably slipped into a trance or something like that. Not fun. It was fun to hear Kevin Harlan describe it all. That was
It's always him.
fun. It's always
Kevin Harlan when these things happen.
And we're all better for it. But yeah, the Toyota center horn would not shut off. And then when they unplugged it, apparently that takes a few minutes for it to actually stop. That's what Lauren Shahadi came on and said. Yeah, even when you unplug it, it's going to take a few minutes for it to actually stop. And then when it stopped, the scoreboard went out. And then the broadcast was like, well, we don't need that. We can still play. We just keep score ourselves. Oh, man.
You had one job, maybe, but I guess it all worked out in the end.
I don't know. Toyota Center. I don't know. They might be evaluated for the next time they host a regional or first or second round, Final Four, whatever it might be.
Under the bus.
Wouldn't host the Final Four there. They'd go to the football stadium. But still, though, not great. Under the bus also to Nate Oates. Quit whining, man, about Charles Bediako. He was talking about they were out-rebounded by 13 in their loss to, who was it, Michigan this weekend?
Yep.
So like out-rebounded by 13, and he's like, well, we couldn't deal with their size. You know, if we had Charles Bediako, maybe we'd be able to, but, God had a different plan. No. This guy, at least 3 times since that whole ruling went down, brought up Charles Bediako unprompted. And it's like, buddy, it's over. Get over it.
He's the ultimate victim. Why does he think he's going to elicit sympathy on this when universally everybody was kind of like, yeah, probably doesn't seem right that he can play. And now that's what he wants to be the parting shot to end the season. I don't get it.
I really don't. Yeah, that was just another bad moment from him.
The bus.
This guy is going to be once he's done with coaching, he's going to be a rocking chair on the back porch and be muttering Bediako all the way to the end.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
2 sweet things. First of all, Mizzou secured a national championship over the weekend. Collier Dyer from Mizzou Diving, the 3-meter national champion, becomes Mizzou Swim and Dive's second ever individual national champ. Congrats to Collier Dyer on that. That is excellent to see that. He was really getting better and better as the season went along and did well there.
Does this still work? You can put it on the board. Dive. I don't know if that works as good.
It did not work. Even worse than the chess one.
Okay.
And also very sweet, Mizzou volleyball announced today they're going to play a match this upcoming season at Wrigley Field Hey now, look at that.
Are we good with this? This feels like a little bit of. Chicago's trying to get their tentacles into Mizzou, and I'm not really sure, but I guess it will be fun for the volleyball
graduates that
team.
live there.
I know.
A lot of students in the Chicago area. I know
I'm sitting in Busch Stadium. I'm in the upper deck at Busch. I have to at least ask the question of if this is okay or not.
No, I think it's very much okay.
All right.
It's going to be very cool to see them play in an outdoor venue, especially one like Wrigley Field. They're going to play Nebraska. It's part of the Big Ten SEC Challenge that the sport of volleyball is putting together for next year. It's going to be part of a doubleheader. There's another one of the matches that'll play there Sunday, September 6th, and you can watch it on Fox, so the nationally televised too. Going to be a great stage for Mizzou volleyball at Wrigley Field in about 5 months. So get ready for that. In the meantime, get ready for the Final Four this weekend. How the heck did UConn pull that off? And who's your favorite for the national champ? We'll get all our thoughts on that next. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Now is the time, the springtime, to think about tree pruning, to think about the structural strength of your trees. This is the time to think about it, because once the summer rolls along and you try to do that work, it can be damaging to the trees. So now, if you get tree pruning done, they can grow back stronger as the months roll along. And there is one place and one guy that I trust with all of my tree needs, and that's Eric and his team over at Advanced Tree Solutions. They serve Columbia, Jefferson City, and Fulton. If you call him up, he'll be there on time. He'll take care of your trees. He'll assess what needs to be done, give you a fair and honest price, and the work is going to be top-notch. It'll take care of all of your worries about how your trees are doing. Let Eric and his team care for your trees at Advanced Tree Solutions. Go and check out their full range of services, advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Definitely during this time of year, make sure to get tree pruning done before the summertime. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis, guaranteed, or your money back, only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Hypnosis. No matter how many times you tried to quit, this Hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis, Thursday, April 23rd, Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss Hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss Hypnosis, 11 a.m. Stop smoking Hypnosis, 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hi, we're Midway Electric, and since you've got a nice large tax return this year, you've got the ability to put it towards something that lasts, like updating your bathroom with modern light fixtures or new kitchen lighting that pops. And Midway Electric is the team of pros you can trust to bring those dreams to life. From custom lighting to complete electrical upgrades, Midway Electric helps transform the spaces you use every day. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. If free agent receiver Odell Beckham Jr. has his way, he'll be playing back at MetLife Stadium. Giants coach John Harbaugh, speaking during the NFL owners' meetings, did not close the door on a possible reunion with OBJ, who starred for 5 seasons with New York. ESPN NFL analyst Peter Schrager.
And I think that is a sign that there's actual conversations to be had. Remember, they lost Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency. He signed a massive deal with the Titans. And who's the Giants' number 2 right now? Odell Beckham has made it very clear to anyone who will listen that he wants to play in the NFL again. He was the best wide receiver on the field at that flag football event 2 weeks ago.
Beckham's played in 9 NFL games the last 2 years. Ravens team president Sashi Brown said the rescinding of the Max Crosby trade with Vegas won't negatively impact the team's reputation. He chalked up the criticism to a slow news cycle. Baltimore backed out of the deal when concerns popped up during Crosby's physical. NBA Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards, questionable tonight in Dallas. He's been out the last 6 games with a right knee injury. Baseball, and Isaac Collins' solo shot is up. The Royals lead to 3-1 on the Twins, bottom 7.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
From Faro
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush
Back to the wall. And it's got her.
and Arrowhead
Touchdown. Kansas City.
to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Well, we got more baseball talk coming. Brendan is joining us live from Busch Stadium before the Cardinals take on the Mets to begin their next 3-game series. The Mets. So that's coming up. We'll talk about what we expect out of Kyle Leahy for his first start of the year. Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball coach, is going to join us at 5:45. Great weekend for Mizzou softball, sweeping Auburn. So we'll get her thoughts on that and how she saw the team do. But here in a little bit, we're going to give our Final Four takes. It's all set. Michigan facing Arizona and UConn facing Illinois. Somehow UConn is here. How the heck did that happen? Who do we blame more? Who do we give credit more to for that situation between UConn and Duke? We're going to give all of our thoughts on that here in a little bit. Also get your takes in if you didn't earlier on Mizzou men's basketball's early roster moves. Trent Pierce in, Anthony Robinson out per the reports. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
This was not all that surprising, the moves that we saw. Trent Pierce, according to Joe Tipton on Free Sports, going to return for his senior season at Mizzou after averaging just over 10 points a game. Very good sign. And certainly a guy that you want to keep around with the way that he built upon the first couple of seasons, and this has been his best one yet. You hope that the best one is coming next year so that he can add to the Tigers group. Now, Anthony Robinson heading out the door, according to his Instagram, going to enter the transfer portal. You know, you hate losing a guy like that. I think it was very easy to root for over the last 3 years. Certainly had a great NCAA tournament game in a losing effort, unfortunately. But we'll see if the Tigers can at least keep Tio Barrett around. You would have to think that's going to be the case because Robinson is on the way out, but we'll see for sure as we see the moves start to trickle out over the next few weeks.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Cardinals remained fun over the weekend. Took 2 out of 3 from the Rays. The pitching was kind of the reason why they lost yesterday, 11-7. We'll see how they do against the Mets and how Kyle Leahy is able to maybe settle things down pitching-wise for the Cardinals to start out, making his first start of the season. Royals right now trying to be winners on their first home game, taking on the Twins, and Isaac Collins already with a home run. So we'll see how they're able to get through the rest of that game as it is currently in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Number 3.
Mizzou softball, big statement from them, sweeping 3 games from Auburn, and now they're above 500 again, and that's a key mark to be eligible for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. You got to be above 500 overall. They're a game above at the moment, so we'll see if they can continue to play 500 ball the rest of the way. Mizzou baseball, on the other hand, well, swept at home against Texas A&M. They're 1-8 in conference play. Got to try and find what they had earlier in the season once again. Their game tomorrow against Kansas moved up to try and avoid some weather. Going to be a 4:30 first pitch tomorrow for Mizzou baseball on the KTGR app.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Wow. Duke had it in their hands and just absolutely blew it away. UConn comes all the way back, hits a final shot at the very end to go to the Final Four, and that's a shot that's going to live in UConn history forever, no matter if they win the national championship or not. But man, some questions about Duke. Like John Shire, I think, is a really good coach, but there are some March moments that are really hard to explain, man.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Not a good start to Tony Vitello's managerial spot for the Giants. And he, on top of that, keeps seeing things that he doesn't need to say.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Or text us, 573-875-KTGR, if you want to weigh in on that. I don't know if Brendan has thoughts on it, if he wants to weigh in here. But like Tony Vitello getting interviewed on the broadcast for Fox saying that, oh, I can't talk down to guys anymore. That's the difference. Oh, that's the difference. Okay, sure.
Here's what I need to know, and I think over time we'll learn the answer, is a lot of the stuff coming out of Tony Vitello's mouth right now that we're kind of going, That doesn't sound right. Is he just like got a really dry humor that he is kind of joking half the time, or is he in over his head? I don't think it's the second thing, but the more of them that keep happening, you go, is this quite right now with him?
Like you can't bring, even if that's your personality, I don't think you can really bring that out until you win some games, right? Like until you
It's
work
hard.
out a little bit.
That's hard because you have the stigma of, well, he's the college coach, and so you would think that maybe that would cause somebody to be a little bit careful at first. But if that's his personality, you're not going to change who you are, but it's going to look a certain way if you aren't winning. And so that's where it'll get interesting for sure with him. Like, remember when he had his first kind of media scrum at spring training and it was all about how things ended at Tennessee and whether or not it was true that the timeline, like stuff that doesn't really matter, but you seem so fixated on it. It would be easy for me to say, the recent stuff that he's saying, it's just kind of joking. He had a comment about, the guys just got really emotional because of the big speech I gave him. It's like, he's probably joking, right? But the more stuff that I keep hearing that I wonder about, you start to go, well, maybe we should just take it at face value. And that would be maybe a concern. It's so early, but it is a storyline already of kind of how the day-to-day is going for them.
I think for sure. Because you have a weekend like you did where he only scored one run. And then there's all this that like he looks a little overwhelmed in the post-game press conferences. And then when you have, again, small sample size, we're overreacting to things that we shouldn't overreact to, but
right.
Let's talk radio. That's what we do around here. But look, it's just, you can't start this way and then say things that people will just mainly brush off as, oh yeah, he was half joking and so that. So
I can't wait to see how the next week goes, because if they go like 4-2 and it all kind of settles down, this will just be a blip on the radar. But I think it'll build in terms of the pressure and the conversation if they don't quickly turn things around. So that's where it'll be interesting to see.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. You want to weigh in on that, on Mizzou and their early men's basketball roster moves that we're starting to learn about today, the Cardinals and Royals getting underway, but also about the Final Four. Oh my goodness. I mean, first of all, like it couldn't happen to a better program. I'll say that. But like, do you blame Duke more for that, or you like credit UConn more for it?
I mean, you have to credit UConn certainly, because it's unbelievable what they were able to accomplish. That you don't see that. But Duke opened the door, did they not? I mean, there's 10.0 left on the clock. They don't have to get the ball across midcourt. They didn't have the arrow, so you do have to not just get tied up. But there's a lot of different ways to kill 10 seconds compared to the ways they picked. That's what I will say.
You didn't need to get it across half court. Like you
did not have to.
You did not need to. You could have just stayed back there and let time expire, because they can't call the 10-second violation on that.
Right.
The time that was on the clock. So Boozer, who was right there, and like also it's with Boozer, like you got to fake a pass to make a pass. Like that's what you learn, and like at the 9th grade level, he knows it. Like it's not new news to him. But it's just tough that when fundamentals get in the way of like not being able to make the right play in that spot, you feel for him. Like it's a lot of that. It's panic, and
he panicked.
But like UConn needed so many plays to go right just to have a shot there. Like they were down as much as 19, and then they come through. And I honestly, I feel. Do I feel happy for Dan Hurley?
No, I don't.
I was watching that game hoping that both teams would lose, but like it's still like lesser of two evils, if you ask me, for how it happened. And we got a good game in the end, one that you didn't think would be good when it was halftime.
I would have had all 4 teams in the Final Four correct for probably the first time in my life on my bracket. So that kind of stinks. But I can't really be mad that Duke lost, right? Do I have to be happy for Dan Hurley? No, but it's Duke. So we'll take the wins where we get them. You're right. We got an instant classic of a March Madness moment, which I think is above all, when you're a neutral observer of a game, that's what you're looking for in this tournament. So we got that. I think we can be happy about that. Did you see the moment of Dan Hurley headbutting the referee? Like, of all the things that we talk about when it comes to technical fouls, I'm not surprised that the ref did what he did, which was look at him like he's an insane person and just keep walking, like not make it into a thing. But what is Dan Hurley doing? Like, he's a psycho. He's a true psychopath.
I mean, apparently, like, those two like know each other and like but even then, come
on,
like, it's not the time or place, but like, don't be like all of a sudden like mean mugging the ref that that you're buddies with or whatever. It's probably not the best time to be in that spotlight. And like at the same time, your coat's like half off. He looked kind of weird through all of it too. Like,
he looks deranged, completely unhinged. Yeah. And he is. So it kind of fit the moment, I guess. But that was, we'll remember that forever. We will remember that comeback and that shot from basically even with the logo. The fact that Duke could have done any other way of ending that game than the one that they chose to do. That was special. It was so good that I was okay with it. Like, I didn't pair up my bracket. I always take it very seriously. And this year I had a chance, had 3 of the first 4, and Duke let me down. But it was worth it because of everybody collectively having that moment in March Madness.
It was very interesting. But I do think on the Duke side of it all, like, they have every time under John Shire that they've been eliminated from this tournament, they had in the game like a win probability of at least like 95%. Like, it was in hand. And like those are like it was like 3 or 4 different times. Once you can be like, okay, it's the tournament, it'll happen. Twice you're like, okay, I don't know. 3 or 4 times, I can imagine from a Duke perspective, their fans could make that seem unacceptable. I don't know what that means for John Shire. Like, I like John Shire. I think he's a good coach. But that's hard to explain away. Like, it's all about March, as we know around here. But for them, it's kind of a different situation with March, to where they're letting games go by that they shouldn't let go by.
There was recently a post that was made, I think maybe by the Duke basketball account, of one of their former players in the NBA making a really good decision in a spot where he was on the sideline and he threw the ball up into the air as high as he could to kill off the rest of the clock in the fourth quarter. They won by 2. And they kind of used that as like a pat us on the back moment. And they put on the caption something about having a Duke education. That was just a few weeks ago that post, and of course it began circulating again in the aftermath of what we saw yesterday. That's a tough beat. I mean, there's just nothing you can say. You're right. Like, there's going to be those questions until there aren't, until John Shire and Duke, because they'll always have the team to do it, until they have the year where they win a championship or 2, and then it's like, yeah, look, they're winning again. That's what Duke is. But it's inexplicable to have one like that. For all the winning Duke will do in the future, under Shire and just in general, that you'll never be able to take away that they were on the wrong side of that one, and it was completely preventable.
Like, yeah, and against another like blue blood, like those games get magnified, and like how you do against those teams also matters a little more than just maybe advancing against a different team that would have been there or something like that. Like it's now a major question mark. I'm not saying they fire the guy, like, but there's gotta be there. It would be unfair. And this is kind of also the the talk around jobs that are open right now and could potentially be open. Like, the expectations of that place are, okay, that guy's got to win a natty within like a few years or so now, right? Like, it's got to happen. If not, they're going to say goodbye. John Shire, and it's been like that kind of kills some goodwill that you maybe built up from like good regular season, get another 1 seed, be in the mix. Like, that becomes expectation at Duke, but then you have something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really ever get to a point of hot seat when you're in the Elite Eight like every year. But I guess maybe you can. Like, it's all relative. If Dennis Gates started getting Missouri to the Sweet 16 and he did it 3-4 times in a row, the next time when they only make it to the first round and they lose, you'll say, well, we go to Sweet 16s around here. We did, we punch our ticket. Like, it's kind of hard to think about that today because it's not where Missouri presently is as a basketball program. But if it got to that point, time tends to shift those expectations, and Duke has had a lot of time at the top. So I don't know. I think their teams are always so good, but you can't keep, when you do exit prematurely in the month of March, you can't keep doing it like that. I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
No, and the rise that, like, I would say Dennis Gates has risen it to the point where, okay, you expect the NCAA tournament every year.
I agree. Yeah.
Like that's what you should expect at Mizzou now, based on what Dennis Gates has done 3 out of 4 years. Like that. So you elevate to that, but now the next step is, okay, when you're in the NCAA tournaments,
do something.
Yeah, do something. Yeah,
exactly.
So like that's what we're going to be looking for. And if it isn't a year where they do something, then yeah, you maybe start to hear that a little bit. Now,
especially if you have a Jason Crow Jr. in a recruiting class that dictates what you should be doing. It's almost, as a coach, the ammunition that can get used against you. If you had a lesser recruiting class, you could say, well, they didn't quite have the talent this year, which the coach is also responsible for. But I think Dennis has set it up to where, like, man, if not now, when? And that includes this portal cycle too, Andy, where they got to get things figured out in addition to the freshmen that are coming in.
Well, and Duke gets a Jason Crow every single year. So it's just, they're set up for that. Mizzou isn't always set up for that. And so when they finally are, it does put more pressure on.
Don't squander it.
Yeah, to make sure that you do something with it. Because Jason Crow's here for 1 season. That's it. Call or text us at 875-KTGR if you want to let us know.
I think that's right, too. Even if he had a bad year, he's probably transferring, right? Because it didn't go well. And it was supposed to. So
no, it's not that. It's
no, I think that, like, if I'm Jason Crow Jr. and I'm not in the NBA 12 months from now or getting ready to go in, something went wrong, and so I don't know. That's probably not happening regardless.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, maybe that's the case. We'll see. But of course, a lot could happen from now until then, and we'll see how Mizzou is able to capitalize on it. So who is your favorite for the Final Four now? Yeah.
I'm still going Michigan.
I assume Illinois, huh?
I'm going Michigan.
Michigan.
That's my bracket. I'll lean back on the bracket. I think at their best, they're as good as anyone, if not a little bit better.
And I think so too. Arizona's giving them a battle though. Like that is going to be a heavyweight fight on the late window Saturday to see who is going to be taking that last spot in the championship game. I can't wait. I think it should be Michigan. I would not be shocked if UConn just takes it though.
I agree.
Experience matters here. Dan Hurley, if he gets his team to this spot, we'll know how to handle this spot. No disrespect to Illinois. Well, maybe I should because, well, I know what program I'm on. There's no chance.
No chance.
We'll have the spot.
I mean, I guess Illinois could beat UConn. I will not predict it. Illinois, I think, is the one team that cannot win the championship. They're the only team I can't see cutting down the nets. In most cases, you would look at Michigan and Arizona and say that's the de facto title game. But UConn is the wild card in all of this because of the factors you just mentioned. Illinois is really, really good. I don't think they can win it all. I just don't see it.
UConn will, I think, eat them up. And we'll have kind of a straightforward first semifinal. Now, I don't know who Michigan would match up better with UConn. That would give us the best, probably the best game. Arizona, though, like I want that. That's who I'm rooting for is Arizona. Like that's the team that I would most want to see it happen for, even though they have a huge hurdle to clear for this first game. And then you probably get UConn, which will like, you have to hope that you have enough in the tank for that game at the same time.
Is Illinois the type of rival that I can say it would be cool if it happened, or do I have to not is that like a Kansas thing where you can't enjoy it if it's Kansas?
Well, you're at the border of that right now. So, I mean, you tell me. It's I would lean towards no, but
I'm the last person that would be
away from Illinois.
I'm not an Illinois fan. I don't understand it as like an entity, why it's there. I'm not offended by it, but it's just kind of there on the periphery of everything good. Yeah. Right. And so that would be a heck of a story if they take down UConn and then one of these Elite One seeds as a 3 would be a great story. I'm not rooting for it, but if it happened, I think I would be able to sit back and go, wow, that was something special that happened.
That notable, like we root for upsets in the tournament, and like if a team like that ends up doing it, yeah, sure, it'd be very, very cool to see. If it were a different 3 seed, it'd be a lot cooler with it.
I agree.
I agree. That's the whole thing. We have
Arizona
comment in here too. Arizona. This guy is just thankful Florida can't win the title again.
Thank you, Bennett Sturts. Yes.
Yeah. Bennett Sturts did a nice job there. Man, I wanted to see them.
I know.
Final Four too.
I did too. That would have been fun.
A lot better, more fun than Illinois. And he is also okay with Duke losing. Yeah, we're all cool with that. All good to see Duke lose the way that they did.
My bracket was perfect. But you're right. It's fine.
You almost like in the Big Show bracket challenge. You were.
I was gonna win.
Close to hopping the next guy that had Michigan. But you can't hop him now because you can't have the points ahead of him.
Nope.
So unfortunately, you will not win the prize. You couldn't win the prize anyway.
I'm not eligible.
All right. Not eligible.
Do we know the prize? Is it official?
We're giving away some Cardinals tickets. So
I have news.
You would not have been putting that to very good use, my friend.
I won't flash my credential because that's kind of a no-no. But it may be okay that the tickets go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just to clear up if that were the case. We are going to recap picks of the week though, because picks of the week is you did wrap that up.
I did. I won.
Yeah, you clinched picks of the week. So kudos to you for that. So now it comes down to who finishes in second and last between myself and the producers.
And the Waffle House punishment is back this year, so that's the exciting part. No
one knew that. That's news to me. When it comes to that, but I think I'm only 2 games back of the producers with the way I have the same number of wins, but I have 4 more losses than them. They have 4 draws. And so that's the kicker, is that the producers are ahead because of the draws. And so I got to find a way 2 games to just make up 2 games somehow.
I think you're going to have to strategically fade what they do on Friday, honestly.
Yeah. It might have to be the move. Like that was the move last year when I tried to catch them for the championship, but that's always dicey because then you a 0-sum game. You've got to make picks too, technically, even though it doesn't matter. But you've got to find ways to get it all done. So it'll all be Final Four, and then we'll probably have to throw some NBA in there. Probably UFL we'll have to throw in there.
UFL, a stray baseball game. You do what you got to do.
All Hockey. Hey, Blues are back in the playoff race all of a sudden, but
that's kind of bizarre, but it's not false. Yeah.
We shouldn't. I guess we shouldn't be so surprised is what they do. They wait until mid-March to turn it on, and then they make the playoffs. So they're probably going to make the playoffs again. We'll all be ready for that once that starts here. In about a month, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, that's going to be good. Either way, we'll be looking forward to the Final Four this weekend. And, of course, Cardinals baseball, you'll hear it on KTGR. Coverage begins at 5:50. And, again, the reminder for folks who are unfamiliar, but if you do listen to this program and listen to this show, you can continue to listen to it on the KTGR app or KTGR.com or on YouTube and Facebook where you can watch us right now, even though Cardinals coverage will come on the radio on KTGR at 5:50. So you can continue to watch us. We'll have Larissa Anderson coming on at 5:45 for that. But we'll talk about what we expect out of Kyle Leahy in his first start tonight. Next on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis Thursday, April 23rd, Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration has answered a lot of your calls over the years, and you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Just like you, 1851 Underground Tap and Grill is excited about watching Mizzou hoop it up in March this year. So put on your black and gold, grab your brackets, and meet your friends at 1851 Underground. With daily drink specials and half-off select appetizers for happy hour, it's a perfect place to take in the tournament. They've also got great Saturday specials on Bloody Marys and mimosas. It's no secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton. 1851underground.com.
We're trying to save people money. Go. What if we cut sandwiches into thirds instead of halves?
We could stop buying warranties and just hope.
What about switching our toilet paper to half ply?
Ew.
It doesn't take a terrible think tank to save money. Just shop at Family Pawn. They've got jewelry, electronics, tools, and gifts for way less. No sacrifices, no half-ply TP. Ugh.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Hi, it's Hillian Hart. This December, let's make some Christmas magic together in Europe.
Join us December 6th through the 14th for Colette's European Christmas Markets Tour.
We're heading to Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest.
Think holiday shopping, amazing food, and that once-in-a-lifetime Christmas feeling everywhere you go.
And since Colette takes care of the flights, hotels, meals, and local experiences,
you can focus on having fun.
Get the full trip details now. Go to 943kat.com.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability, restrictions, and terms at Lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
So tell us your thoughts on the whole, Final Four situation with UConn getting in over Duke on a wild sequence yesterday that concluded the Elite Eight. Glad that Iron Eagle and Raftery and Grant Hill were the ones to be on for that one as well. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Andy here, Brendan at Busch Stadium, walking the concourse once again as people, I think, start to file in. Gates are open, I suppose.
I think they legally can get in. I haven't seen anybody upstairs yet. It's kind of like a test today, Andy, because it's a Monday. School is still in session. The team is not so good this year. We're kind of curious what the crowd might look like at Busch, but it's a very, very nice night. So hopefully that helps.
I mean, yeah, if people saw this weekend and saw that it was fun and you're like, hey, we got a chance to go out on Monday night. It's going to be nice outside and see how this team does against a team like the Mets that obviously bring a lot of star power themselves too. So like if opponent matters to what game you want to see as a home fan, then it probably gives a little bit of juice to. I would think that it's maybe a little bit better than expected, better than last year's first Monday game, which I know was very lackluster because I think the Pirates were here and it was just not great. And the season was not great either. But
yeah, no, you're right about that. You're right about that.
But I mean, what do we think Kyle Leahy's going to do in his first start? Like, this is it's an interesting spot. I wouldn't have wanted him to face the Mets the first time he makes a start, but I mean, he's going to. Can't change that.
I have a nugget on why that happened. It is interesting, right? Because you could have gone for maybe a lesser lineup in the Rays. You could have tried to flip that a little bit. But what the Cardinals prioritized, Ollie Marmol told us this afternoon, was having a guy comfortable enough with starting after a team off day, because they had Thursday off, Friday, pitch Saturday. That ended up being McGreevy, who they threw the kitchen sink at him last year when it came to like when his games came. And Kyle Leahy has not started at all. He started the last game of last season for 3 innings. And so the thought was, yes, this is a tough test for start number 1, which Ollie Marmol said, hey, that's a good thing. Like, he's going to be challenged. But they did have a conversation about that and felt like the priority would be not throwing him like on a Saturday after the team didn't play on Friday, which I think they probably didn't want to do that to Dustin May either. So McGreevy drew the short straw, I guess you would say, but obviously handled it really well, and it is kind of the type of guy who you expect to handle that really well. So that was the reasoning behind it. But yeah, Mets is going to be a challenge for Kyle Leahy in his first start, but they're eager to see what it looks like, Andy. I mean, I think going back to middle of last year, they had this in mind for him to potentially try to make him be a starter in 2026.
Well, it opens up a little more of the roster that way if it works out, right? Because I think you needed to churn the bullpen a little bit, find some guys that can fill those roles, but you needed multiple that you could try out there, and that maybe requires an extra roster spot to play with. And so you knew that Leahy could have the length to potentially be a starter. So now you really try to maximize that as much as possible, and Leahy becomes a guy that has a chance to carve out a very interesting role of like a 4th or 5th guy in a rotation. Does not need to be the star of this, Brendan, because the Cardinals can fill that when they need to fill it. Like, they can fill the true bona fide starting pitcher spots that you rely upon to like potentially go into a like down the line in a playoff series and start.
Yeah.
Kyle Leahy does not need to be that. Like, Kyle Leahy needs to be the guy that keeps things on schedule, that doesn't blow up a bullpen for the start of a series. And this is a very interesting litmus test that he then gets going up against an offense that looked very good this weekend and obviously comes with a lot of hype, trying to keep them at bay so that you can get off to a good start in a series. If you're getting that in 60% of Kyle Leahy starts this year, I think that's a major win.
Yeah, I think you have a good point. Like, when the Cardinals are competing again, hopefully they develop a starter from within that's a number one or a top flight type of guy that can, like you're talking about, if it's a wild card series, you've got a guy that you develop that's starting one of those first two games that you feel really good about. It's okay to have the other one be somebody that you go out and buy or trade for when the time comes. The other spots in your rotation, yeah, you want to develop and have those cost-controlled starters who are giving you, replicable production at number 3, 4, and 5 in your rotation. And I think they think Leahy can be an example of that. Ollie said this afternoon, he doesn't want to just kind of like keep making the comparison to Matthew Liberatore, but mentioned Libby as a guy who successfully sort of navigated that jump from was a reliever for a while and then has found his way back as a starter. And the repertoire, I mean, Leahy throws 5-6 different types of pitches and he mixes them pretty well. It's about building up the stamina, but I think that's something that they think he can do. So it'll be a really interesting test tonight to see it in action for really the first time. Like they got his feet wet a little bit at the end of last year, game 162. They found value in that, kind of knowing what was to come. And Ollie said today, hey, glad we did that because now this won't be the first time for him to do this. But they like Kyle Leahy, and I think this is a worthwhile experiment in a year like 2026 to see, hey, can we maybe develop and carve out an additional bona fide guy in our rotation that if he's the 3, the 4, the 5, but he's cost controlled for a couple of years to come and can be reliable in that spot. I think it's a worthy experiment that they are going to try for the first time today.
I'm going to say 4 2/3. He gives up 3.
That's maybe fair. I'll say he gets through 5. I want to lean on the side of believing in Kyle Leahy. I can't call him Kyle every day he anymore like I did last year. But every 5th day he is going to be the new moniker. So we'll see what he's got in store tonight for the Mets.
Oh yeah, I made a slight reference to it. I didn't know how
you got to bring the drop back. The Frank Thomas Mets. Hey, how about this? Let's try this out. Duke didn't give away this game. Well, now wait a minute.
Hang on. They should feel nothing to be ashamed of, but they absolutely gave away this game.
They very much did. That's a better way to put it.
That is the very true part of it. They gave away the game. 875 KTGR, call or text us. Brendan, enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you very soon. Up next, we will hear from Mizzou softball coach Larissa Anderson on a Mizzou sweep at Auburn next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening. I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local sports center update is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball's Anthony Robertson II is reported to be entering the transfer portal posted by On3 Sports. Robinson finished the season shooting 41% from the field and 31% from 3. With that, Trent Pierce is expected to stay for his senior season. Along with Pierce, Gates will be bringing on 3 incoming freshmen for the 2026-2027 season. The St. Louis Cardinals take on the New York Mets tonight. The Cards come off a hot opening week, taking 2 out of the 3 games from the Rays. First pitch is set for 6:45, so you can stay around and follow the action right here on KTGR. Mizzou Baseball's Border Showdown game versus Kansas at Taylor Stadium tomorrow has been moved up to 4:30 p.m. due to incoming weather. The Tigers come off a tough weekend series sweep to number 25 Texas A&M and will head to Kentucky this weekend to take on the number 24 Wildcats. Mizzou softball turned things around in conference this past weekend after sweeping Auburn on the road, putting them above 500. They will face Missouri State tomorrow at 5 before hosting number 20 LSU for their weekend series starting Thursday. Up next, your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. With warmer weather, pests become very active. Steve's 5-star service and pest prevention will protect you 24/7. Go to stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mild temperatures tonight as we remain in the mid-60s. Tomorrow's partly cloudy. We'll see a high near 83 degrees. And then heading towards evening, we'll see scattered showers and storms with soggy conditions continuing into Wednesday. Morning temperatures Wednesday in the 50s. We'll see highs in the upper 60s with showers and storms throughout the evening. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
on Simmons Field. Swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit. And across the SEC. Fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Tigers are ready to roar. There it goes. Long drive, deep right field. That is gone. This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball. The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Hypnosis only $59.99. Thursday, April 23rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Lee's Tire Company has been around longer than the internet, longer than the Happy Meal, and since before Star Wars hit the big screen. For 55 years, they've been family-owned right here in our community, fixing flats, solving problems, and doing honest work to get you back on the road. So while you might not be able to pick your family, you can pick your tire place. And once you pick Lee's Tire Company, you'll join their family forever.
Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
You've seen the trucks. You've heard the name, but there still seems to be some confusion. So let's settle this once and for all. Yes, Steve from Steve's Pest Control is a real guy.
Okay, sure. I'll believe in Steve when I see a termite riding a unicorn.
Time to squash those rumors, like Steve squashes spiders. Steve's Pest Control isn't some big corporate chain, and they're not some call center based in the land of make-believe. Steve's Pest Control is a locally owned, family-operated company. From ants to termites, bedbugs to wasps, Steve's crew handles it all with precision and a dash of Midwestern charm.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control.
There it is, proof of Steve's existence. So don't waste your time calling the not-so-local guys and call your friends at Steve's Pest Control. Local, legendary, and 100% real.
We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care. Educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. Whether for homeowners associations, golf courses, apartment complexes, you name it. And it's one less thing to worry about. With expert service and yearly discounts, your business and your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions today. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Celebrating 50 years in business. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
We're back here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here. And what a week it was for Mizzou softball. Now on a roll as the Tigers went down to Auburn and grabbed their first SEC series win and sweep as Mizzou took down Auburn all 3 days on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That also followed up a no-hit victory on Tuesday last week against SIU Edwardsville on the road. Sierra Harrison spinning that in 5 innings. And here to talk with us all about it, Larissa Anderson, Coach Mizzou softball here on the Big Show. And so, Coach, to
have that type of week all happening on the road for your group, being able to win in those types of environments and do so in some pretty big fashion. How did you kind of see your group handling it all throughout the week?
I mean, enthusiastic, that's for sure. A lot of positive energy, a lot of confidence right now. I mean, they're playing extremely well. I've seen a shift in them since our Florida series and, the win against Alabama, and then carrying a lot of that confidence throughout the midweeks and carrying into Auburn. Just they're trusting the process. They're making very small adjustments. They're not panicking. They're having a good time doing it. So just continue to carry that momentum for sure.
And certainly when you build off of, as you mentioned, those moments that earlier in the season you used as turning points. And now that it's been 12 wins in the last 14 for your group, how have you seen the confidence build each and every game through that with how you have been winning these types of games?
We've been winning, and, different people are stepping up at different times. But there's the belief that anybody can get the job done right now. Like the pressure is not on one person. We're turning the lineup over. Different people are really taking advantage of their opportunities. Our pitching has been very consistent. And, so obviously Sierra Harrison having the no-hitter against SIUE during our midweek, but just real competitive, real consistent, putting people in situations that they're elevating their game. I think Saturday's win, I believe I had 16 players that got into the game. And then that just shows you the depth that we have, my ability to be able to manage and put people in situations that they're going to be successful in, and being able to utilize all the tools that we have. But it's just continue to trust the process and focus on Mizzou softball and not worry about who we're playing and, what this game means. It's just, win the moment, win the small moments, and then try to win more moments than they do.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So with Sierra's week, which was pretty darn impressive, I mean, the no-hitter Tuesday, she goes out and puts together 5 scoreless innings to put you on the right foot on Friday. I know she ran into a little bit of trouble Sunday, but just the overall week that she had, how did you kind of see her finding her success points throughout all of that and being able to be as dominant as she was?
I think the most impressive thing is her focus. You could see it when we'd have team breakfast in the morning, like so focused, ready to compete. And when I'm calling the game for her, she buys into every single pitch that she's throwing. Like she's not overthinking it. She's looking at the hitters. She's trusting what's being called. She trusts Fania behind the plate, and she's just attacking. And when she takes that ownership on every single pitch and doesn't have any doubt that sits in, like she's so unbelievably competitive. She's starting to understand too a little bit on, how to make those little adjustments. So if we're living on one side of the plate and we're throwing curveballs, like how much more does she need to move the curveball? How is she reading swings? Where does the ball need to go? But just really taking that personal ownership and laying it on the line for her team and her teammates and giving us an opportunity.
Yeah, are you seeing that happen, and almost maybe rub off with some of the other folks on the pitching staff? Because there were several other pitchers that stepped up in big roles, either to close down an inning or to finish a game or whatever spot that they were in. It just seemed that this weekend there were several of other members of the pitching staff that maybe had to be moved around in some spots, but seemed to do pretty well there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they know their strengths. And that's the biggest thing is like who complements who, what is your strength? How can we get batters out? Like even you look at Donahue and, she came in and she's bridging the gap extremely well, going from our starter to our closer. She knows what her strengths are, and she throws 3 different speeds, and she doesn't have the high velocity that Harrison does, but she has the ability to be able to move and manipulate the ball, and she's crafty. So she knows exactly why she's in there and what she needs to do that's going to be different than the others. And then being able to set it up for whoever's going to finish and close the game. But, it's them not trying to be anybody else. It's what does each pitcher do? What are their strengths? How do they need to get batters out? And let's maximize what they do well.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Offensively, it seemed that there was, once again, some good timely hits from your group in what were some pretty close games most of the time throughout. Maybe save a little bit for the 5-run first that you put up on Saturday, just to have that type of mentality at the plate this week. What stood out to you most about how your hitters were approaching each and every at bat?
Controlling the strike zone, and not panicking. Like even on Friday, we had 9 strikeouts. She had 0 walks. Like she pitched a gem, but we didn't panic. So it was, is she getting us out or are we getting ourselves out? And she got us out. Like she throws some nasty stuff. She has 3 different speeds. She throws a drop that's really heavy and high velocity, and then this extremely spinny rise that's a little more off speed. So, I mean, we were caught in between speeds and she did a great job, but we just continue to compete, and we were able to get some clutch hitting out of Up to Grove, where she drove in a number of runs and also had a home run. But it's not panicking. It's staying true to your plan, staying disciplined to your plan, swinging at good pitches, and just be on time for whatever it is you're trying to hit.
How important was Up to Grove in those moments? I know she's now basically a 2-year starter for you now for as young as she is, and being able to start to get maybe a little more acclimated to how the day in, day out of an SEC grind of a season is.
And it's when we evaluate our hitters and we talk to them, it's okay, what pitches are you looking for? What are you trying to eliminate? Like Up to Grove, you can't hit every pitch that's thrown to you. Like you might have been able to do that before you came to play at this level, but the pitching is too good. So what are we eliminating? And that's what she did extremely well on Friday. She eliminated the upper half of the zone. She focused down at the bottom of the zone, and that's really where she's strong. But we need that production at the bottom of the lineup. We need to get some more quality at bats and some clutch hitting in our 7, 8, and 9 to be able to turn it up over for the top of the lineup. So it was great to see to get some production there. And Kaylee Langer came through with a real clutch RBI base hit to left field in that game as well.
When you go through a game like Sunday where Auburn takes the lead a couple of times, you kind of go back and forth a little bit. But then in the 5th inning, you get the home run from Abby Carr to put you ahead, and then you have a chance to add on top of that. I mean, that's a spot where your team had already won the series, but you're trying to go for the kill shot. Just how important was that to have those moments late in a game that's you're trying to really put your foot down, then you're able to do it.
It's huge for the morale. It's huge for the confidence. Like you just said, like we already won the series, but let's sweep. And it's so hard to sweep in this conference, like especially on the road. Like it is almost close to impossible. But having players step up and not giving in and not just turning the page and just saying, we already won the series, let's pack it in, but just competing and not giving up. And every single player in the lineup has an opportunity to be able to win. Like we never know who's going to be up with the game on the line. And to have a freshman like Abby Carr come through in that situation is just absolutely huge. And it just continues to add to the confidence and the belief.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. And so with this role that you're on, you now go into another week where you have a midweek. You have to go on the road for it to Springfield to take on Missouri State before coming home this weekend against LSU. How then with, you're almost through the halfway point of the conference season. How does this continue? How do you kind of keep your group as high as they are right now? Because ultimately there's still work to be done to be able to climb back to where you want to be.
It's first is giving them the recovery and the rest that they need. It's a grind. We got back late last night. They have today off with a game tomorrow. So, it's one of those things on making sure that they're clearing the clutter. I say all the time, like, eliminate the distractions, take care of your academics, make sure you guys are eating and getting proper sleep. Let's make sure your bodies are healthy and that you're getting the recovery that you need. We got to go on the road. We got to beat an in-state team. And we know how competitive that they're going to be. And they're going to want to do everything to be able to knock us off the horse that we're on right now. And then we got a real quick turnaround with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series because of Easter weekend. So not a lot of time to rest. But we just have to continue to stay focused on the process and trusting the process and not thinking that we've accomplished anything because we haven't. We're finally back above 500 for the first time all year. So it's just making sure that we focus on what we need to do. And that's just winning those little moments and not getting outside of ourselves.
What are the challenges the teams like Missouri State and LSU present with how you've seen them kind of play this year and what you'll need to be ready for over this next week?
Missouri State, you don't know who's going to pitch, but they have a real strong pitcher that has been very competitive and given a lot of power fours a run for their money. So again, we can't get outside ourselves and try to chase balls that are out of the zone. Doesn't matter who you face. You swing at balls, you're going to get a bad result. So we got to swing at good pitches. And then LSU just came off a real competitive series with Oklahoma. I mean, they took one game from Oklahoma on Saturday. They have a real strong lefty with Jaden Heavner. She throws for left-handed side and hits 70, so she's going to be extremely tough to be able to hit. We're not going to have a lot of opportunities against someone like that. So we just have to stay focused on one pitch at a time and just play as competitive as we possibly can.
Well, again, Mizzou softball winners of 12 of their last 14, now back above 500 after sweeping Auburn this weekend. They play at Missouri State tomorrow. Then LSU is the opponent this weekend at Mizzou Softball Stadium Thursday through Saturday. And we'll be looking forward to all of that with Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach, here on the Big Show KTGR. Thanks for coming on, Coach. Safe travels tomorrow, and we'll hope to talk again next week.
You got it. Thanks, Andy. MIZ.
ZOU, it's the Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app, and certainly a huge role that Mizzou softball is on right now, trying to keep that going this week. And again, I believe that if they are an above 500 team by the time the SEC tournament is done, that should be a resume that is good enough to be in the NCAA tournament as an at-large team. But again, got to get above that mark. Right now they're above it. So you got to play basically 500 the rest of the way in order to stay at that mark. We'll see if Mizzou softball can continue to do that this week as they take on Missouri State and LSU. And we thank you for joining us today here on The Big Show. Thanks for coming on in. A reminder to turn your radio on right now to hear Cardinals coverage underway as the Cardinals continue their homestand. First pitch at 6:45, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk about all that at 4 o'clock. Thanks for joining us today. He's Brent.
Just like you, 1851 Underground Tap and Grill is excited about watching Mizzou hoop it up in March this year. So put on your black and gold, grab your brackets, and meet your friends at 1851 Underground. With daily drink specials and half-off select appetizers for happy hour, it's a perfect place to take in the tournament. They've also got great Saturday specials on Bloody Marys and mimosas. It's no secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton. 1851underground.com.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice.